Clairaudience is that fascinating gift that allows some to hear beyond the normal range of sounds, offering insights that seem to whisper from another realm. Whether it's a voice within that seems too clear to be just a thought or an external sound that only you can hear, clairaudience bridges the physical world with the astral. Imagine sitting quietly, and suddenly, you hear your name being called, but no one's there. This isn't just a wild imagination. It's a doorway to something deeper, possibly from the realms of the zodiac or the cosmic energy surrounding the planets. This psychic ability often feels like tuning into a frequency only a few can access. For those who possess or develop it, it's like getting a private concert from the universe itself. Some might hear distinct voices, while others pick up subtle hints, perhaps the soft murmur of guidance from a spiritual entity or even the distant echo of the moon's energy. The more one connects with this skill, the more these astral whispers begin to align with the energy of the planets, creating a cosmic symphony that only the clairaudient can interpret. As people begin to explore this gift, they often feel a deep connection to their inner self, as if their soul is in direct communication with the astral plane. Developing clairaudience can become a tool for navigating life's complexities, especially when decisions feel as vast as the movements of the zodiac signs. Over time, this ability becomes less about simply hearing and more about understanding what the universe, through the planets and their alignment, is trying to communicate. And here's where things get interesting. Clairaudience often reveals itself in ways that can catch a person off guard. It might start as an inner dialogue, as if you're having a conversation with yourself, but the responses feel too insightful to be self-generated. Or perhaps you're going about your day when you suddenly hear your name being called, only to look around and realize there's no one there. This is where the power of the planets and their influence over the astral comes into play. Those sounds and names could be the universe sending you a message through a zodiac sign's energy, or even the whispers of a spiritual guide. For many, these sounds might seem random at first. However, the more they tune in, the more they notice a pattern or a connection to something deeper, like the positioning of the sun or moon in their birth chart. The astral world is constantly communicating, whether it's through subtle noises or names that pop up in your awareness. Just as the planets influence the tides, they also guide these psychic frequencies, allowing one to tune in to sounds that might seem out of place, but are actually filled with meaning. When someone first experiences these manifestations of clairaudience, it's easy to dismiss them. But learning to trust these moments, just like trusting the cycles of the zodiac, is key. A name called out might not be just a sound. It could be an invitation from the universe to pay attention. And that's where the next level of this psychic ability starts to unfold. Developing clairaudience is like learning to tune into a celestial radio, where the universe has important messages waiting to be heard. The ultimate aim isn't just to hear random sounds or voices, but to foster a deep spiritual connection that can guide you through life's challenges. By opening yourself up to these astral frequencies, you can receive wisdom from higher realms, whether it be from spiritual guides, ancestors, or the cosmic energies of the planets themselves. It's like having an intimate conversation with the universe, and each word carries the power to help you evolve spiritually. The more one hones this ability, the more it becomes a tool for personal and spiritual growth. Imagine being able to ask the universe a question, and, through the vibrations of the moon or the alignment of your zodiac sign, receiving an answer that feels deeply personal. Clairaudience allows that kind of connection, offering guidance that transcends the physical world. It's like the planets are speaking directly to you, helping you navigate your path with clarity and purpose. As this psychic ability develops, so too does your relationship with the spiritual entities that exist beyond our earthly plane. Just like how the sun provides light and direction, these higher realms illuminate your path, giving you insight into your journey and purpose. Whether it's through a subtle whisper or a clear voice, clairaudience becomes a bridge between your daily experiences and the vast wisdom of the astral. And as you deepen this connection, you begin to see how it all ties into something greater. Clairaudience doesn't always come in neatly wrapped messages. Sometimes, it's like picking up fragments of a distant conversation. You might hear a single word, or perhaps a sentence that feels like it comes from somewhere beyond your mind. It's like tuning into a cosmic signal that breaks through the noise of everyday life. These fragmented messages often feel like whispers carried by the astral winds, influenced by the position of the planets or the phase of the moon. They may be subtle, but they carry significant meaning, guiding the listener toward deeper insight. For many, these sounds can seem confusing at first, like trying to make sense of a puzzle with missing pieces. But over time, as one becomes more attuned to these psychic frequencies, patterns start to emerge. A repeated sound or word might be the universe's way of drawing your attention to something you've overlooked. It's a bit like how zodiac signs can hint at personality traits that aren't immediately obvious. The key is learning to listen closely and trust that even these fragments are part of a larger, more coherent message that's waiting to be understood. These auditory experiences often occur when least expected, like hearing a repetitive noise or a phrase just before falling asleep. The repetition is a way of reinforcing a message, much like how the planets move in cycles, offering repeated opportunities to grow and learn. Once you start paying attention to these subtle cues, the fragments begin to come together, creating a clearer picture of what the universe is trying to communicate. And just when you think you've understood it all, one of the biggest challenges in developing clairaudience is knowing when a thought is truly yours and when it's a message from the spiritual realm. It's like learning to distinguish between a quiet whisper and an echo from the cosmos. In the same way the planets and their unique energies affect our zodiac signs, psychic communication often carries a distinct vibration that separates it from the everyday chatter of the mind. However, it takes time and practice to refine this skill, especially in a world where our thoughts are constantly buzzing. A good way to start is by paying attention to how these thoughts or sounds feel. External psychic communications tend to have a different tone. They might feel lighter, more urgent, or carry a sense of clarity that self-generated thoughts lack. It's similar to how the moon influences the tides without us even being aware of it, subtly guiding the flow of energy. By focusing on the subtle differences in these experiences, you can begin to discern what is coming from within and what is being sent from higher realms. Think of it as tuning into a particular frequency, like adjusting a radio dial to hear a message more clearly. To practice, some people meditate under the light of the sun or moon, using these natural energies to heighten their sensitivity to astral messages. Journaling can also help in identifying patterns. Writing down what you hear and how it feels can reveal which thoughts are purely your own and which come from an external source. Over time, with patience and attention, the distinction becomes more obvious and the guidance you receive becomes much clearer. And just when you start to feel more confident in this practice, when it comes to clairaudience, one of the trickiest parts is figuring out what's coming from your own mind and what's an actual psychic message. It's like sorting through the noise to find that one clear signal from the universe. Just like how the movements of the planets influence your zodiac sign, without you consciously knowing, psychic messages can slip into your awareness subtly. At first, it might feel like you're just daydreaming, but with time, you start noticing that some thoughts have a different weight or energy. A practical way to tell the difference is by focusing on how these messages feel in the moment. Self-generated thoughts usually have a familiar tone, like a mental echo of your day-to-day concerns. Psychic communications, on the other hand, often have a unique vibe. They might feel sudden or more profound, like a whisper carried on the wind. Think of it as the difference between listening to your inner dialogue and hearing the clear ring of a bell in the distance. The sun and moon both illuminate, but their light feels distinct. The same goes for internal thoughts versus external messages. To sharpen this skill, some use meditation to quiet the mind and create space for external guidance to come through. Journaling can also help. By writing down what you hear, you can start recognizing patterns in the messages that aren't self-generated. Over time, with practice, it becomes easier to tell when something is truly a psychic communication rather than a product of your imagination. Once you get a handle on this, the real magic begins. Clairaudience isn't just about receiving random sounds or voices. It's a profound way to connect with loved ones who have crossed over. Imagine being able to hear the voice of a dear relative who has passed, guiding you through a tough decision or offering comfort in times of distress. This ability allows for communication beyond the physical realm, like hearing a message carried by the astral winds. It's as if the planets align in just the right way, allowing for these spiritual encounters to happen. When you tune into these vibrations, it's a chance to feel that connection once again, even if just for a fleeting moment. Of course, it's not just about hearing. It's about understanding the deeper meaning behind these messages. Not every sound or voice is meant to be taken at face value. Just like how each zodiac sign has layers of traits and nuances, messages from the other side often come with layers of meaning. It could be a name whispered in the night, or a phrase that seems insignificant at first, but later reveals a profound insight. The key is to listen not only with your ears, but with your intuition, discerning the intention and energy behind the communication. For those looking to strengthen this connection, certain practices can help. Setting aside time to meditate or reflect under the light of the moon can heighten your sensitivity to spiritual messages. Some even keep a journal of the names, words, or phrases they hear, later analyzing how these messages align with current life events or challenges. This kind of journaling helps build a bridge between worlds, making it easier to recognize when a loved one is reaching out. And as you get better at interpreting these messages, to truly unlock the power of clairaudience, practical exercises are key. Setting a clear intention before you start any session is like aligning your inner compass with the stars. Just as each zodiac sign has its unique strengths, your focus shapes what you hear and how clearly you hear it. When you set the intention to receive messages from the astral plane, you open a door to deeper connections with the universe. Whether you're asking for guidance from the planets or seeking wisdom from a spiritual guide, this first step lays the groundwork for a successful experience. Meditation is another powerful tool in developing clairaudience. In the same way that the moon influences the tides, meditation helps calm the mind and create space for spiritual messages to come through. By quieting the internal noise, you become more attuned to the subtle vibrations of the astral world. Imagine sitting under a starry sky, breathing deeply, and allowing the silence to reveal the whispers of the universe. This kind of practice not only enhances your psychic hearing, but also strengthens your connection to your spiritual guides. Keeping a journal is an invaluable part of the process. By writing down what you hear or sense, you create a record of your experiences that can be analyzed over time. This is where you start to see patterns emerge, like recognizing the recurring influence of certain planets in your life. It could be the same name popping up repeatedly, or a certain sound that always appears before significant events. Over time, these clues help you decode the messages you're receiving, and the journal becomes a roadmap of your spiritual journey. As you refine your skills through these practices, the journey to developing clairaudience is one of trust. At first, the messages might seem faint, like trying to hear a whisper in a crowded room. But just as the sun gradually rises to illuminate the world, the clarity of these impressions becomes stronger with time. Trusting your initial impressions is crucial because those subtle messages often come from higher realms or spiritual entities. Much like how astrology teaches us to recognize the influence of planets on our zodiac sign, learning to interpret these vibrational signals is a skill that grows with practice and patience. A helpful tip is to pay attention to the physical sensations that come along with these impressions. You might notice a tingling in your ears or a shift in energy around you. These small but meaningful signs are often the universe's way of affirming that the message you're receiving is valid. It's like feeling the pull of the moon on the tides, something you can't always see, but can definitely sense. The more you lean into these subtle cues, the clearer the messages will become. Over time, you'll begin to notice how certain vibrations correspond with specific types of guidance or communication. As with any psychic skill, practice and self-reflection are key. Start by embracing the first thought or sound that comes to you during a quiet moment, without second-guessing it. Write it down, analyze it later, and see how it connects with your life or the current movements of the planets. The more you trust yourself, the stronger your connection with the astral world will grow. And as you continue to refine this skill, you'll start to see how it fits into the broader journey of spiritual growth. Now that you've explored the depths of clairaudience, it's time to put this newfound knowledge into practice. Imagine the possibilities if you start applying these insights to your daily life. What messages might you hear from the other side? How could connecting with these vibrations transform your understanding of the universe? Dive into the exercises, trust your impressions, and watch as your psychic hearing blossoms. Engage with your journey, reflect on your experiences, journal your discoveries, and keep refining your skills. Share your progress and stories with others who are on a similar path. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more tips and insights into enhancing your spiritual abilities. Ready to see how deep this rabbit hole goes? Let's continue this adventure together.